Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Political Vigilante live stream Sunday. Let's make sure we got this right. Sunday. Whoops. Sunday, January 26th. My name is Graham Hill. You're watching the Political Vigilante live stream. If you're new to this, I do this every Sunday at 3 p.m. I'll answer your questions. It's a great way to support the show. What's up, Alien Effects? Sam Dean. Hello, Zen. Polish Hammer. Yo, 8 days. I don't know what 8 days to, but great. Mark Clark. Jack C. Aloha. JRG. Junior JG. Hello. Zen. Texting from the National Mall. Right in. Cannon Fodder. Hello, Cannon Fodder. Good to see you. Dizzy Dez. 90. RIP Kobe. Yep. Mo Money. Afternoon Campers. Kilkenny B. Zach Ortega, Bernie Tulsi 2020, never worn. Oh, Iowa caucus is in 8 days. Yeah, thank you, Polish Hammer. Now I got it. You're right. Action for Assange. Hello, everybody. What's up, Taylor? She is the moderator. Hello, Annabelle. How are things down under? I hope the fires are subsiding and getting under control. Ooh, brain freeze. Sorry. Oh, brain freeze. Smoothie brain freeze. Tamardero, Jackson Fact, Smash Dragon. Matthew Sevilla, what's up? Do I think Sanders will win the first three primaries caucuses? Yes, I do. He's leading in all those, and they've started to talk about it on the mainstream media. This is the thing. This is why there's all this stuff. They dug up something Bernie said in 1976. Like they're trying to do everything they can because they're realizing he could win the first three primaries. If he wins the first three primaries and then goes into Super Tuesday and California looks like it's a lock, watch out. He could sweep here. Proof Graham has a brain that I got brain freeze. I don't know. Maybe it's Russian cold. Maybe that's why my brain, because Putin is telling me what to say and I'm confused. Fires are better. We've had rain on the East Coast. Well, that's great to be here, Annabelle. You know, I'm glad that there's been fires rain on the East Coast to put the fires down. I hope they get that under control. That's just been awful. Yeah, Polish Hammer, Bernie. This time we're crushing the cheating mofos. Sorry, this is just a fantastic smoothie. I was a little late today because I went to go swim laps. The pool I normally go to was under construction, so I had to drive to another pool. Come on, man. 97 people watching, 30 people hitting the like button. Hit the like button. Siberian neural thrombosis. That's what Russia would have you think. Where is... Snork Y2K will be forwarding a contact of a young man from London, UK, knocking doors in Iowa to support Bernie. He gave a great speech in Waterloo, Iowa for Bernie. Awesome. Good to hear. Hello, Miss LA. Miss Melissa H. Such a good smoothie. Oh, my God. All right, let's get into some of the super chats. A great way to support the show, everybody, is to hit the dollar icon there. And this is what these next two people have done. What it does is it supports the show. I get 100% of that money you're charged a little bit of a fee that does go to YouTube. But it's a great way to support the show. Another great way to support the show is to go to patreon.com/GrantMill, where you get exclusive access to bonus content. What I'm doing with the Patreon video bonus stuff, rather than getting bonus videos on there, is because I was starting to get bothered by I was making making videos and putting cool content out there, but then putting it behind a paywall. A lot of the videos, I was like, well, this seems like information that everybody needs to hear. So what I'm doing more of is putting, and it ends up being actually more video content on Patreon, putting more behind the scenes videos on for the Patreon videos tier. So like you get to see behind the scenes stuff, like when we're on the road and all that. That's what I'm doing more of. So because I don't like putting like a video with important information behind a paywall, because it limits the number of people that can see it. But the $10 video tier is a cool tier, and I appreciate the people that do that. So I want those people to still get cool exclusive videos, but like behind the scenes stuff is what you're going to get. That's a good vegan smoothie. Sorry, I know that was loud. Alien FX, shave your knuckles for justice. Hillary yesterday, I did 100 events for Obama, LOL. Well, this is the crazy thing, and this is the thing to bring up when neoliberals argue on social media or whatever. Hillary waited a long time to endorse Obama. She only did 10 events for Obama, only 10. Bernie did 32 events for Hillary. Okay, that's a matter of public record. So, and also 1 in 4 Hillary supporters voted for John McCain and Sarah Palin. 1 in 8 Bernie supporters voted for Trump. So all that Bernie's bad mouthing her, that's just ridiculous. And I'm really tired of hearing it. I'm glad you brought that up, because it's just more lies from Hillary Clinton, who has been to Jeffrey Epstein's compound with her husband numerous times. Bill was on her plane 26 times. I'm never gonna stop repeating these statistics about the Clintons. So Ghislaine Maxwell, who was accused by Virginia Roberts Giuffre for being a pedophile and sex trafficker, the Clintons had Ghislaine Maxwell at Chelsea Clinton's wedding. And I've said this before, Virginia Roberts Giuffre said she didn't say this on social media. She didn't say this in an interview. She said in a sworn deposition. And if you've never been in a sworn deposition is there's a court reporter, you're under penalty, and you're told you're under penalty of perjury. So Virginia Roberts Giuffre said this under penalty of perjury, that she was raped and trafficked by Ghislaine Maxwell, who settled out of court. So Hillary Clinton is awful. And the fact that these neoliberal, like a feminist, you call yourself a feminist and you think Hillary Clinton is your feminist hero. It's like someone who's a foodie who really looks up to Jeffrey Dahmer. Melissa H., shave your knuckles for justice. More people showing up at rallies to hear people talk about Bernie than showing up to actually see other candidates. Absolutely. Bernie is gaining, and Trump is aware of it. The Democratic Party's aware of it. Tucker Carlson talked about it. That live stream I did last week with Ron and Fiorella, we talked about it, and I've dropped some clips from that. I have more clips from that live stream. So I'm sure you guys are starting to see that this is what I've been doing is when I do these live streams, I'm starting to edit them up and then drop the clips. So even if you can't see the whole live stream, I will, and I'll do that for this today. I'll drop some clips from it. So because, we have several hundred people watch, 400, 500, 600 people watch the live stream, which is cool. But then there's a bunch of people, you can watch the whole archive, long version if you want, but then I cut it up into clips. So I still have a bunch of clips from the last 2 or 3 live streams that I'm still haven't dropped yet because I've just been busy. So the OK Boomer thing that you keep Sly Bean first keep saying, first of all, let's be real clear here. The OK Boomer thing is another means of the ruling class to divide us. They want millennial boomer fighting with each other. They want black white fighting. They want red state, blue state, man versus woman. They want all these things to fight with us. So the OK Boomer thing. And then the thing I've said very clearly here, and you just got blocked by Taylor. If you're going to say the same thing over and over and over and over on the live stream, you're going to get blocked. That's just annoying. When you come on and say, just post the same thing 15 times, that's annoying. I just get annoyed. So if you advocate for violence, I'm going to block you. If you're rude, and some people go, Graham, you're a freedom of speech guy. Freedom of speech doesn't mean you get to be an asshole. So those are the rules. But the OK Boomer thing is absolutely designed to keep us fighting with each other. That, they just put that, they think they come up with this stuff in think tanks and the private intelligence community, and then they spread it out all over. Like, look what Cambridge Analytica did. They spread it out over social media, and then everyone's fighting with each other. So now we're saying, OK Boomer, and we're not going, hey, how come? I just drove by on the way to the pool, a bunch of there's new tent cities popping up all over Los Angeles. Why aren't we talking about that? We're still doing this impeachment nonsense, and we're not talking about Jeffrey Epstein, right? So we talked about this last week. Ghislaine Maxwell's hard drives apparently have been hacked or stolen. That's all we've been told. We don't know what's on them. There should be a complete investigation about that. So the OK Boomer thing is another goddamn dumb distraction. It's a stupid distraction. It's dumb. And it doesn't serve any of us. Just look for these distractions. Look for them. Look and see what they're about. Look and see. I always ask myself, what are we not talking about? Because look, we can look at any generation and say there's people there's boomers who've been fighting the good fight since the 60s. I mean, Bernie's a boomer, but so's Hillary and Trump. So it's like, it's irrelevant. I'm a Gen Xer. Did my generation, did we fix it? Did we go, we're going to end climate? We all got, we all got excited in the 90s, all of us getting out of high school and college, and we're going to fight the good fight. But the system is designed for that. The system is designed to, you don't have time now to go to activist rallies and fight the good fight because you got to pay your bills and all this. The system is designed for that. You think it's a coincidence that millennials and Gen Xers are saddled with huge amounts of student loan debt? Because they need you in debt. So you can't spend time calling out the powerful. I'm worried about Bernie's assassination. Leaders got killed for much less by our government, and Bernie declared war on all the corrupt crooks. Yeah, it's a thing. It's a real serious concern, which is all the more reason why he needs to have a real progressive VP and a progressive cabinet. So that there's not Truman waiting in the wings. You know what I mean? So yeah, they need you in debt so you feel burdened all the time. And then they do this OK Boomer stuff or this whatever. So then you're blaming somebody else, right? It's like the immigrants stole my job. It's the same thing. No, an immigrant did not steal your job. A billionaire stole your job. That's the only thing. Instead of OK Boomer, replace it with OK Billionaire, OK Billionaire, OK Ruling Class. That's the OK you should be posting repeatedly. you know? My 11-year-old literally just asked me about a half hour ago if I was afraid of Bernie getting assassinated. You're 11-year-old. So what is this? This is like an 11-year-old is aware of this as a thing, you know, because we look throughout history. I mean, they've done it even recently, the Black Lives Matter movement, that a lot of leaders, they've, this person got, you know, I mean, it's a legitimate concern. And it's why, and it's the thing that Bernie says, though, I'm not the revolution, you're the revolution. It's all the more reason why all of us have to pay close attention, right? We all have to get involved. We all have to say, no, we don't stand for this anymore. We have to do this. We have to do peaceful, nonviolent resistance. And we got to do things that the intelligence community and the ruling class doesn't know how to do. Look, going and rallies and those things are all great, but they know how to disrupt that. They know how to cause people fighting with each other. That's one of the things about, we talked about on this show, the JTRIG, the private intelligence, right? We've been made aware of that mainly by Susie Dawson and Action for Assange. So that's one of the things they do, is get us to divide and fight with each other. That's why when I see Bernie and Tulsi supporters fighting with each other, I go, that's just a waste of time. And actually, we've seen more unity lately, and we should be grateful that Warren's fake attempt at calling Bernie a sexist, and Hillary trying to smear Bernie and Tulsi, and now Tulsi suing Hillary, is great. And all of us should be unified. It's okay to disagree. It's okay to debate stuff, but the fighting and stuff is what they want. And the people that you see seem like big activists for this candidate or that candidate that are really fighting hard and saying, you got to wonder, some of them are either taking the bait of private intelligence and the disruption of the deliberate disruption of the ruling class, or they're flat out working for them. Because they know this isn't like tinfoil hat stuff. These are leaked documents. I mean, I urge you to watch the 1 versus 5 Eye streams from Susie Dawson. She goes through leaked documents from private intelligence that outline, and the CIA, this is how we disrupt. This is our plan. This is in our playbook. This is in the manual, literally. So we all have to pay close attention. Yeah, you have Bernie and Tulsi stickers on your car to help spread the word. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Go to protectsusie.com and sign the open letter. So that's a great thing that you can do to help Susie, is the more signatures she gets, the more it helps her asylum case. So as Taylor just said, protectsusie.com and sign the open letter. Jedi Mullet 77, shave your knuckles for justice. Democrats are using DNC approved app in Iowa caucuses. This way DNC can rig elections instead of Russia. I thought Russia did everything. Thank you for bringing that to our attention, Jedi Mullet 77, and thanks for supporting the show. You very consistently support, and I appreciate that. Yeah, this is, again, what I just said. Everything I'm saying is all interconnected. So one of the ways we all have to pay attention is all of the ways they're trying to screw us. This DNC approved app in the Iowa caucuses, yeah, look for all the ways, especially and locally, because what they do is they find these little regional areas, these districts or whatever they know are critical, and those are the ones they're like, well, this has this demographic. They're purging people that are independents. They know independents are going to vote for Bernie. So you got to pay close attention to what's going on and monitor it and take photos and evidence and all this stuff. Again, this is what Bernie's talking about. This is why we all need to pay so much attention, and why, as was discussed, assassination fears are legitimate. But this is, look, they're willing. This is the biggest threat to their power base. I've heard some people say, well, the deep state hates Trump so much, they're going to let Bernie get in there. And I don't know. I don't see enough evidence of that, because all I see is the corporate media, which is the mouthpiece to the ruling class, badmouth Bernie at every turn. So, and Trump, hey, the Democrats just gave him, they approved a bigger war budget. It's $132 billion more than what Obama had. They've let him have his border wall. They've let him have the Patriot Act. I mean, like, I don't think the deep state has a problem with Trump. They did it initially, maybe during his campaign 4 years ago, but now he's been playing ball. He's keeping the war machine going, and that they're good with that. He tells their secrets up front. He's like, oh, I'm just leaving the troops around to guard the oil. And they're like, oh, shut up. But they'd rather have that. Trump is just sort of a buffoon that tweets crazy shit. And he's just like, you guys handle it. And they do whatever they want. Bernie will change all that, and they know it. So Andrew Dwyer, shave your knuckles for justice. Steyer is more supportive of Bernie than Liz. Yeah, look, there's a lot to be critical of Tom Steyer for. He's a billionaire who just bought his way into the race. The fact that Tulsi's not on the stage and Mike Gravel are not on the stage, but a billionaire white guy is on the stage is offensive to me. Now, Steyer is really trying to push, we got to reverse climate change. He said, day one, I will make this a national emergency. And, I'm glad he's saying that, but he says that without any sort of acknowledgement. And he kind of acknowledged it at the last debate of, hey, you made money from the coal industry. You've made money from private prisons. You became a billionaire. The reason you're on that stage is because you're a billionaire, not because you're some activist. So, there's no photo of Tom Steyer getting hauled away in handcuffs for civil rights like there is with Bernie. He's obviously realizing, if Tom Steyer, if we are to take him at his word, that he does truly believe that climate change is this serious, and maybe he's like, God, I made all my money doing this awful stuff, and now I was wrong, and we got to do something now. So if we take him at his word, he is smart enough to know, I'm not going to become president. Bernie has a good chance, so I'm going to line up with Bernie, which is, hopefully he'll drop out of the race soon, and instead of spending $100 million on ridiculous ads for himself, he should give it to Bernie. Give 50 million in ads to Tulsi and 50 million in ads to Bernie. He should do that if he's really that serious about the climate. Because if he is that serious about climate, he's obviously, I would assume, read Bernie's Green New Deal, which is the best one of all of the candidates. Tulsi wrote the OFF Act, which is good. I mean, as I do, I talk about climate at least once a week on this show, because it is the most severe thing. And if we don't deal with it, we're done. And I don't mean like the year 2100 will be really rough. I mean, the human race will be off, gone, done by 2050, gone. And that's not that far away, if not sooner. I mean, it could happen in 5 years. It could happen in arguing over, oh, Graham, this new report said 4 years. This new report said 12. Like that. That's not the point I'm making. And to argue the specifics of that, we know it's the doomsday clock just got closer to midnight, and we need to do something about it. And lying about being Native American and lying about Bernie saying he doesn't want women to be president is a waste of time and only feeds the filthy ruling class. So Liz Warren is a complete 100% sellout. She's a liar. She's a career lying opportunist. Liz Warren lied about being Native American and got to go to Harvard. Somewhere there's a Native American woman in her 60s or 70s that could have gone to Harvard and didn't. She didn't get to go. Somewhere there's a woman out there that grew up on a reservation and had a tough life and could never have gone to Harvard unless she was given a scholarship and all that. Never. There's no chance. And Liz Warren took it from her. Allison Irwin. What's up, Allison? Thank you so much for supporting the show, everybody. If you are a YouTube, whatever they call it, subscriber, member, used to be YouTube Red. Now it's, I don't know what it's called now. But I believe you get one $2 super chat included a month in your $10 subscription. So if you haven't done that, you can throw $2 at the show real quick, which I appreciate. Smash Dragon 11, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Best documentaries you've seen last year and this year. Well, there's a new documentary on Netflix that I just started watching about how we're really, it's not a matter of if there's going to be a global pandemic, it's just a matter of when, and it might be here already now with this coronavirus. That one's pretty powerful. Yeah. Forks Over Knives is a really good documentary. Yeah, Netflix, some of their doc series I really like. Yeah, good question. Oops. Edward Dunning, what's up, Edward? Thanks for supporting the show. I think Bernie wins the primaries too, but I'm worried about rigging. Did you see from Perez who Dem National Convention committees? Podesta too. Yeah, God, of course. Look, the way Bernie can truly win the nomination is overwhelming support, like overwhelming numbers that it's just indisputable. If it gets close, they can cheat. They can cheat so easy. We can't let it go to a second ballot. So there just has to be overwhelming numbers. And then we're going to have to make sure they don't pull Bernie to the center. And, that's what we have to do. So there's a lot of stuff here. And if Bernie wins the nomination, he will beat Trump. But even then, it's not, woo, we're done. That's when it really starts. So we have to pay close attention to all this stuff and all these little tactics that you're talking about. We can't trust Tom Perez. We can't trust Podesta. We can't trust any of these folks. We can't trust them. Christina B, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Christina, you're making Gotham great again. Thoughts on tiny houses? Seems silly to pay tons for a trailer so you can stay in LA and Portland when you can buy a house in Detroit for a nickel. Well, or Christian B. Sorry, I called you Christina. Christian B. Thank you, Christian. I think it depends. I think, look, we in Los Angeles and in California, we have a serious homeless problem. And one of the things they're offering to a solution is if you're a homeowner and you have a backyard with some land on it, they will pay for you to put a little studio, a tiny house for a person to live in and get people off the street. I'm all for that. I don't think it needs to be either or. If you want to move to Detroit, I think that would be great too. Some people could go to Detroit and buy property and help revitalize Detroit. So I think it's whatever seems to work. Fixing, at least in Los Angeles, fixing the homeless problem is going to take a series of things. If tiny houses are part of that, great. One of the big problems that I see in Los Angeles, there's one new luxury apartment building after another going up, right? Literally where there's tents. That needs to end. Before we talk about whether or not tiny houses are good, if I was driving down LA and every mile or so I saw, new affordable housing, new housing for homeless people, I'd be like, awesome. But we're not seeing that. We're seeing big developers buying off local politicians to get more luxury, which all it does is drive up everybody's rents, which is awful for everybody and creates more homelessness. So that needs to be addressed first. Get the fucking developers out of there, man. They need to pay their fair share. They need to lower the rents. Rents need to be completely lowered in every major American city. And there needs to be housing for the homeless for starting today. Make that happen. And if tiny houses is part of that, great. That's what we got to do. Cyber Clue, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Got my California absentee voter ballot. Can't wait to vote Bernie. Do you think it's safe to mail it or better to drop it off at the local elections office? Drop it off. You put it in the mail, they can throw that away. What I do, unless I know I'm going to, if I'm out of town on election day, I'll mail it. But what I've done the last couple elections is I get a vote by mail and I fill it out. And then on election day, this is the truth. In California, you can go to any polling place, walk to the front of the line and just hand it to the woman or man who's got the ballot and say, here you go. And that person will put it in and watch them put it in the ballot box. That's the best play because they can lose it in the mail. They lost a lot of, I know someone that voted for Bernie in the primary last time in California. Oh, and it got sent back. It was the wrong address. Really? How did that get screwed up? That sounds like the Clintons got somebody to work for a postal inspector to screw that up. So I would go, and again, I've done this. I have physically done this. I've walked to my local polling place. I've walked right. There's a line out the door. I've walked right up to the front and gone, here, this is my ballot by mail. And I watch the person put it in the ballot box. That's what I would suggest doing. Sly Tendencies 87. Shave your knuckles for justice. Sly was directing that at someone else. Okay, I don't know what that's in reference to, but good to know. Proof Anthrax. Professor Anthrax is probably what you're saying. You're making Gotham great again. Shave your knuckles for justice. How do you feel about reparations? 40 acres and a car. So we've talked about this. I think it was Jasmine Mann, who's a Patreon supporter of the show, sent me a bunch of stuff about ADOS. And I did a whole video on it. I think it was last year sometime. And there's a whole website that the ADOS, American Descendants of Slavery. They have a whole website. It's very clearly and concisely laid out what it is. Because what's happened, and this is what I was initially incorrect, is reparations. Then of course the Fox Newsy, they just want to give everybody free, So if you go to the ADOS website and watch my video, you'll see the very specific way that it's laid out. And it's been a while since I did that video, so I don't want to misquote myself or mainly misquote this website. But there's an American Descendants of Slavery. It's very clear. You have to be a descendant of slavery. And they're like, not just and they're like other nationalities. They're like white women don't get included in this. It's everybody wants reparations. That's how that can be. If you don't go into the specifics of this ADOS movement, then it can just get lumped in. Well, then anyone gets a handout. The Japanese internment camp. So every Japanese person, we're supposed to give them $1 million. So that's how that argument can be made when you don't go into the specifics. And the specific ADOS argument or plan, I am absolutely in favor of. And I did a video on it. And I want to thank again Jasmine Mann for sending me that information. It was a great example. I said something on this live stream like a year ago, and I was like, yeah, it's too big of I'm for it, but I think it's too big of a political football. And she sent me this email saying, Graham, you might not be aware of this. Here's the website. And I really, hope you give this a deeper look and realize that there's a lot of misconceptions out there. And it was such a great way. And I always use this as an example. I've gotten other people, like when I say something incorrectly on the show, which I can do, I don't know everything. And they send me these crazy, Graham, you liar, all cap emails, sell out, and my first reaction to that is go fuck yourself. So Jasmine Mann did this she didn't get mad, she didn't scream, whatever. She's very laid it out. And then and I read it, and then I did a video correcting myself and put the correct information out there. So go to that website or watch my video. Boom. Jeffrey Coleman. Shave your knuckles for justice, Jeffrey. Excellent observations about the importance of staying on our toes and combating distractions. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you for supporting the show. Boom, you're making Gotham great again. Always remind yourself, talked about that, it was Taylor Hudak from Action for Assange brought this up to me when I interviewed her. You know, we spent a week talking about what Liz Warren, the sexism accusation, which was a valid thing to discuss because it showed the lying and the corruption of her and CNN being complicit and the DNC being complicit with it. It was a valid thing to discuss, but it was a week of not talking about Iran. We're still on the brink of World War III, right? It's still right there, right? It's still happening, but now we're not talking about it. And they're trying to do that to get us all arguing about identity politics and waste 10 minutes during a debate going, there's no debate on whether a woman can be president. We all know a woman can be president. Bernie said it 30 years ago. Like back when Liz Warren was a Republican lying about her heritage, Bernie was advocating for women to be president. So we got to be aware of these distractions. Every time there's something dominating a news cycle, always ask yourself, wait, what are we not talking about? At the top of the list will be war, how we're going to pay for war, and Jeffrey Epstein. And all of the powerful people that are connected to Epstein. Every time. I brought that up on Crosstalk last month. Every time. There's always, guess what? We're not talking about Epstein. We're not talking about the tent cities that I just drove past. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about, it was brought up on the live stream last week with Ron and Fiorella. The Fed just gave $6 trillion to Wall Street over the last 3 weeks or 4 weeks or something. $6 trillion was just written. The Federal Reserve can just, because it's fiat currency, we're a monetary sovereign, the Federal Reserve can just give money out. All this, how are we going to pay for Medicare for all? Hey, Bernie, tell us the truth about your Medicare for all bill, which he's explained time and time again, it's going to cost this much. Nobody talked about that $6 trillion. It's like when the Democrats just signed over the Patriot Act. Nobody was, what were we distracted by that day? What was it? You know? Trump signs a $1.5 trillion tax break that is the single greatest transference of wealth to a bunch of billionaires. That's when he started tweeting shithole countries. And everyone's all up in arms that he's racist. Yeah, of course he's racist. Obama would never say that. No, and no one brought up, Obama was bombing the shit out of them. He wouldn't call them shitholes. He just bombed the shit out of them. Nobody talked about that. So look for all of these distractions. What are we not talking about? Right? Epstein gets arrested. All this stuff comes out. Then Trump starts tweeting some crazy offensive stuff that everyone gets, oh, can you believe what Trump said? Yeah, I can. I'm never shocked by what this guy says. If there's just a video of him just eating a puppy, I wouldn't be like, what? I'd be like, yeah, the guy eats puppies. He's evil. What are we not talking about? What are we not talking about? We're not talking about when Hillary does this crazy stuff. Bernie, nobody likes him. She's trying to pump up her Hulu show. But guess what we're not talking about? We're not talking about the Clintons' ties to Epstein. We're not talking about the ruling class billionaire elites have set up for decades, if not centuries, a global ring of raping and selling children. Those are the most powerful people in the world. The FBI started probing Ghislaine Maxwell. They haven't charged her with anything. What more evidence? Where is all the evidence? How come we're not screaming? How come every day, instead of this stupid Adam Schiff one-man show, impeachment nonsense, how come we're not really going that in court? Remember when they, a couple months ago, really tried to pin down that woman with the Bureau of Prisons as to why Epstein died on their watch? Why are we having a daily congressional hearing about that? Because then we'll find out that the CIA and Mossad are letting people be pedophiles. Why aren't we on a daily basis talking about every time a child dies in Yemen? 120 kids die every day in Yemen. How come we're not having an inquiry about that? Thanks, Jeffrey. Hey, Mayors, what's up, hey, Mayor? Shave your knuckles for justice. Hey, Graham, still out canvassing. Everyone needs to record and call out every moment of this caucus. We lose if we allow BS from the get-go. Right on. Amers is in Iowa, so show her some love. Way to get out and on this, do the footwork. Good for you, but you're right. Pay close attention, especially if you live in Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, Nevada, the early states. Right? They would love it if Bernie doesn't win a couple early states. They can say, oh, Bernie's coming. Like, Bernie's leading in the polls, and Crystal Ball just put this out on her Instagram page, and it says Bernie's in the lead now. And the photo they use is Bernie like looking all dejected. They have to negatively do it some manner. They can't show Bernie like thumbs up, I'm in the lead in front of 1,000. They could have picked a photo of him in front of 10,000 people, holding hands and raising the hands of victory with AOC. No, they show Bernie like he's dejected. Bernie leading in the polls. Too bad. Bernie, campaign on the ropes. Like, they have to at every turn. So you're right, Mayors. First of all, good for you for doing this work, and everyone out there who's out there canvassing and making phone calls. Good for you, but pay close attention, especially if you're in Iowa. Shadow Zacko 9, boom. Do you think Bernie will get the JFK treatment if he gets the nomination? Well, Bobby is the one. The way they treated Bobby is the real one I'm worried about, because Bobby had the nomination. Bobby was all set to win, and then they killed him in Los Angeles at the Ambassador Hotel, which is now a high school. Yeah. He had just won the California primary. He was set to do it. And he was the one talking about workers' rights. Bobby Kennedy had fought to defend like Cesar Chavez and people like migrant workers and farm labor. He was for labor. He was for ending this war in Vietnam. And why are we spending all this money on war in Vietnam when there's poor people here in America? Bobby was starting to talk about that. Bobby was talking about civil rights. Bobby was doing that. And then Bobby got killed in a very suspicious manner. So yes, I am worried about him getting the Bobby treatment. If Bernie becomes president, then yeah, I'm worried that a lone gunman will shoot a bullet that goes around a car like that's moving at a high rate of speed with a loading carbine rifle. That's almost impossible to do. Yes, I would be worried about that as well. Snork Y2K, cha-ching. Thank you, Snork. Mitch, good to hear from you. AOC is a 30-year-old. Yes. Or 31. Yeah, she can't be vice president. She has to be 35. Annabelle Corey, that was a great doco. Bobby Kennedy in America, I think it was called. No, it's called, I think it was called Bobby Kennedy for president? That's another great, that question earlier about documentaries, that's another great documentary that was on Netflix, talked about Bobby Kennedy and what he was doing and all the work he had started to do and how he had started, JFK was still sort of in the Joe Kennedy, like, do whatever you got to do to be powerful. There's plenty of things to be critical of JFK about. There was some good things, but there was plenty of stuff to be critical of him. And Bobby was the one that really was like, really fighting for the work, the people. And so Bernie's ticker, that's how they do it. Yeah, oh yeah, I know. That's absolutely true. That's what I worry about too. Bethany Hunt brings up a great point. If Bernie chooses anyone 1 inch to his right as VP, he's on borrowed time. No, that's absolutely true. That's why I'm like, he has to pick a super lefty progressive. Nina, Tulsi. It has to be a woman. I think it has to be a woman of color. It has to be somebody way left. Because if he picks a Warren, well, if he picks Warren, they'll take him out in a heartbeat. And then Warren will become president and she'll name Hillary as her VP. And then Warren will slip and fall down on a paper napkin in a prison cell with no video. You're absolutely right. I agree with that so much. Graham, any news on the California helicopter crash with Kobe Bryant? Yeah, I heard about that this morning. Unfortunately, there was 9 other people on the helicopter with him, including his daughter, which is really heartbreaking. I don't know who else was on it. I saw on Twitter this morning, somebody was like, Bernie put out a post about Medicare for all, and they're like, Bernie, not the time, and all this stuff. You're insensitive to Kobe and his family, and I can't begin to know what Kobe's wife and his other family members and all the family members of all the people that died on the Heldt are going through. And also somebody else pointed out, the rape allegations against Kobe, he seemed very guilty to me, and he was complaining to the Lakers they weren't flying him to Colorado for his rape trial on a private jet. So, but one doesn't cancel out the other. It's awful. It's a tragedy, especially for Kobe's wife just lost her daughter and her husband, and all these other people, we don't know the names of them yet. But Kobe seemed, and I understand too when the Kobe rape trial happened, there were some people in the Black community who immediately took Kobe's side because there's a long history of white women having consensual sex with a Black man and then claiming they were raped when their dad or boyfriend or husband finds out about it, which is, that is absolutely true. There's also a long history of wealthy celebrities and powerful men and celebrity athletes getting away with crimes, and it's swept under the rug because they're very rich and powerful. And the NBA made a lot of money off of Kobe Bryant. So him in prison, that would cost them money. So, what came out in the trial was they had consensual sex, and then he wanted to do another sex act, and she said no, and he said too bad and forced her. That's rape in my book. According to her testimony, that's rape. So, and that doesn't negate the tragedy of him dying today. And him dying today doesn't negate the tragedy of what happened in that trial and what happened to that woman who didn't want to come forward. And this is why rape survivors don't want to come forward, because they get chastised, especially women are called, no, they asked for it, and she went to his hotel room, so of course she asked for it. And it's like that, that's, yeah. So, yeah. So that's all I know about that helicopter going down. A nurse in China on Periscope says there are 90,000 infected in China. Yeah, I was just reading about the coronavirus this morning, and it is spreading like wildfire. And if you watch that documentary that's on Netflix about the pandemics, they're like, it could spread across the planet in a matter of months because of air travel. 459 people watching, 226 likes. Hit the like button, everybody. Yeah. So yeah, this Yeah. So what I know about this coronavirus is it is spreading rapidly. It's a strain of the SARS virus, and what I read this morning was that it keeps mutating. This is the fear of a pandemic, and this is how that's happened in the past: is that it starts mutating, and so vaccinations and stuff like that don't work because the vaccinations are already like out of date. So yeah, it's a legitimate thing. And I've heard about this for the last 10 to 20 years. I've heard this statement numerous times. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So I hope this isn't it, but every scientist talks about it's a matter of time before there's a pandemic that wipes out all these people. And with air travel, somebody gets on a plane without knowing it, especially like a long haul international flight. And by the end of the flight, a bunch of people on that flight are infected. Then they all get out and it just spreads. The crew gets on another plane and they fly. And it just can, and this is what they're worried about happening. So, yeah. Spanish flu spread fast in 1918, killed millions. Yeah. Yeah, the movie Outbreak. People die every day, get over it. Oh, that's ridiculous. Yeah, we don't need that comment about Tim Black. Seth Rich didn't kill Epstein. Epstein didn't kill Epstein. I don't know, dude. Kill Kenny B. Shave your knuckles for justice. Did you see that the Des Moines Register, owned by huge media conglomerate Gannett, endorsed lying Liz? Yeah, of course. Look, the woman on the CNN moderator panel for the last debate was from the Des Moines Register. The woman who was asking Bernie, did you say this? And Bernie said twice. Excuse me. No, I did not say this. And then that woman who works for the Des Moines Register turned to Liz Warren and said, Senator Warren, after Bernie said this, how did you feel? So the Des Moines Register, we know, because the statistic, and this was all planned. The week before that, the week before that debate, there was a thing saying 70% of the time the Des Moines Register endorses somebody, that person wins. So they were setting the table like whoever gets that, that's probably going to be the winner. Then this was all choreographed. Liz Warren's campaign leaks that the day before the debate. So that was all staged. The woman from the Des Moines Register didn't say, hey, Senator Warren, Bernie says you said this. Can you refute that? Like who's telling? They just was all, you saw how choreographed it was. Bernie said twice, no, I did not say that. And of course a woman can be president. He made this very eloquent case as to why he and everybody knows a woman can be president. And he goes, there's videos from 30 years ago. They then turn from the Register after he said that, like it's a fact. He just said no twice after he said that. So it was all concocted to go, oh, Bernie can't even get the Des Moines Register. This is Liz Warren's race now. She's surging. She keeps dropping in the polls. Bernie keeps getting all these nominations from all these prominent people, and mainly all these women of color. Liz Warren can't get women of color to endorse her. I mean, AOC, Jayapal, Omar, I mean, Dr. Virginia Dooley, who I've had on this show. Please watch that interview. She explains, she's a physician, why Bernie's Medicare for All plan is so important. Because she sees patients on a daily with insurance that can't afford procedures that she is prescribing. So this was all concocted. So what? The New York Times and the Des Moines Register endorse a woman that lies? Here's what you should do. Email the Des Moines Register and say, why are you endorsing a woman that lied about being Native American and stole a spot away from a Native American woman who could have gone to Harvard? Ask them that question repeatedly. Why are you endorsing someone who stood up and clapped for Trump during his State of the Union speech last year when he said, this country will never be socialist, it will always be capitalist? Why are you supporting somebody that voted to give Trump an extra $80 billion for the war budget? Ask the Des Moines Register, all of you go to their website and ask them that. Why are you endorsing this person? And just point out the facts. Don't even mention Bernie. Just ask them the facts of all of the lies of Elizabeth Warren. Why are you endorsing this person that has repeatedly lied? Kelly M. Bernie 2020. What's up, Kelly M. Bernie 2020? Graham, what do you think about the AG of the U.S. Virgin Islands filing a lawsuit that accuses Epstein and his inner circle of trafficking girls as young as 11 as recent as 2018? I need to take a drink of water before I answer that one. When I first read that, I tweeted in all caps, why the fuck didn't you do something about this while he was still alive? This makes me, I'm on the one hand, I'm glad they're filing a lawsuit and and I hope they're indicting actual living people that are still in power, that are probably still involved in trafficking girls. The fact that there was children as young as 11 years old is sickening and infuriating. But what is really maddening is why, if they knew about it, that's the problem with the Epstein thing. And that's why they keep trying to cover it up and distract us with this dumb thing and that dumb thing. This means that the Attorney General of the U.S. Virgin Islands knew about this. The locals knew about it, the local cops knew about it, and nobody did a goddamn thing because he was rich and powerful. That's what really makes me mad. So start indicting people, like really go after people. I mean, this is the thing. There was only 2 people who have been charged thus far, the 2 guards at the bureau, at the prison. Come on. These 2 bumbling guards were online, whatever, buying stuff and doing Candy Crush or whatever. And then, the video footage just happened to have been lost. The footage of this guy hanging himself with a paper t-shirt. They just lost it. So this kind of shit, I'm glad they're filing a lawsuit on the one hand, but where the fuck were you? That's the thing that makes me so mad. So many people in positions of power could have prevented this. How many? 2009, when Acosta gave him that sweetheart deal where he could basically run around and traffic girls for 12 hours a day and then just be back at his cushy white collar prison at night because he was told he's an intelligence asset. So there needs to, we need to not let this go, Hashtag Epstein didn't kill himself. Hashtag why didn't you investigate sooner? Email the Attorney General of the U.S. Virgin Islands and say, why didn't you file charges when he was alive? How many little girls could have been not raped and trafficked? How many crimes could you have prevented? He's dead now. So who are they going to arrest? His butler? And yes, Virginia Roberts Giuffre says all these people knew. Everybody was in on it. Doctors, drivers, all these people were in on it. And yes, those people should be held accountable. But my fear, they're trying to do it, we're never going to see the real face of it. We're just going to get all these mid-level people. Even Epstein was like mid-level. So we're going to only see these people under him, and they should be held accountable. Absolutely. Everyone should be held goddamn accountable. But until the top people are arrested, I want to know, that's what I want. I want that, like the RICO Act. You always go to the head of the mob. Arresting the mid-level guys doesn't do anything. And I want the head. But that's the issue here. The head of a global sex trafficking ring are the people that are currently in power. William Barr, when Trump supporters think, oh, Trump's really going after Epstein and the Clinton pedophile ring. Why is William Barr? That's Trump's guy. That's Trump's guy. He should be throwing down all these indictments about the Trumps and the Clintons and everybody else. How come the Clintons haven't been indicted? How come Ghislaine Maxwell should be in custody right now, as should Prince Andrew? So, yeah, the AG of the Virgin Islands is like, where were you? I'm glad you're doing this now, but you should have done this 10, 15 years ago. And you could have saved hundreds of children from the most horrific life that they will always be affected by. So many of them get involved in drugs, prostitution, all this awful behavior because they hate themselves because there's all this shame attached to it. So that's what I think about that. And Mockable, thank you for supporting the show. Graham, have you seen What the Health? Great one. No, but I heard that's a good doc. I'm glad we're bringing up all the docs today. Anna Maxa, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Maybe a group of people all put $5 into a pot until you reach 1,000 or whatever it takes to help a homeless person get securely off the street and make a pay it forward, rinse and repeat, spread it across the nation. Yeah. Yes. But really, there's enough money in this country. That's the other thing. I mean, what you're suggesting is fantastic, and it shows a kind heart and nobility, and us as a society should all want to do this. But again, it goes back to, we just gave Wall Street $6 trillion. And instead of those soulless cocksuckers on Wall Street, they are fucking pieces of shit. Excuse my language. I'm trying to swear less in 2020. $6 trillion? I bet you we could end homelessness with that. $6 trillion spread across the country, all the major cities that have a homeless problem. $6 trillion. That's so much ridiculous money. Like, what is 6 trillion divided by 50? How many? I mean, you wouldn't divide it evenly, because you California would need more of it. States with bigger cities with bigger homeless populations would need more of the money. Texas, New York, they would need more of the money for sure. $6 trillion. Instead of giving Trump an increase in his war budget, let's fix homelessness. That's how we do it. Your plan is great, but like that kind of stuff and charity, and which is all wonderful, but a lot of it is just like a GoFundMe for to help everything. It's great, but it's like a tax on good people. We're all trying to pay our bills and get by. There's enough money from this country and the billionaires. Amazon. Instead of spending $1.5 million to defeat a socialist on the Seattle City Council, they could have just built. How many studio apartments could Amazon build just in Seattle, where they're headquartered? Seattle has a really bad homeless problem. Amazon could just fix homelessness in Seattle. Fix it. End it. Fix it. Tom Steyer could fix it in San Francisco. Fix it. Bloomberg could fix it in New York. Fix it. Just wake up tomorrow and go, done. Boom. And a year, 2 years from now, we go, wow, remember what it used to be? There's no more tent cities now. They got rid of it. They spent all this money. Melissa H. Boom. Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. What's better, saying quietly that we need incremental change, or yelling for great change now? Some things need to be shouted from the rooftops. Absolutely. That's the thing, too. The incremental centrist. I talk about this on this show. I joked about it on stage last night. Tell me a time in history where A pragmatic centrist with their incremental ideas is like revered decades later. At no time in the history of the human race has incremental centrism solved a big problem. No, at no time. Nowhere. It didn't happen. Centrism didn't stop the Nazis. Centrism didn't end slavery. Centrism didn't give women the right to vote. Centrism didn't start the civil rights movement. Centrism didn't fix any of those things. Tanaka. Hey, Graham, did you hear about the guy who dropped his toothpaste? He was crestfallen. Thank you for spending $5 to just do a bad joke. I appreciate that. A toothpaste joke of all things. Yeah, guys, Dental Awareness Day. Take care of your teeth, brush and floss daily, get yearly checkups. Thank you so much, Tanaka. Tisha T, what's up, Tisha? Shave your knuckles for justice. Graham, could Granny Petrol and Shatner sing a duet of Comfortably Numb by Pink Floyd? Okay, we'll do that. Oh, I got to roll here soon. You got that, Tisha T. We're getting ready for song time because I got to jump out of here soon. Smash Dragon 11. Wasn't there a bullet? Shave your knuckles for justice. Smash Dragon 11. Wasn't there a bullet shot in one of Bernie's campaign buildings in 2016 and multiple death threats sent to him in the past 4 years? Very scary. I don't know about that specifically. Probably, I can't say definitively yes or no, but it wouldn't surprise me, and it is a concern. The closer he gets to winning, the more that's a real concern. So, Just a Girl. What's up, Just a Girl? Thank you for supporting the show. Why aren't any of our governments taking this shit seriously? I'm hearing crazy things and I believe them. This is disgusting. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. I mean, it's why we got to be loud. It's not just going to be fixed with electoral politics. That's part of it, but just everybody getting out and voting it's going to take more than that. It's going to take, nonviolent peaceful resistance like Chris Hedges talks about. It's going to take Bluebell 51, what's up? Yeah. So you're absolutely right. Creative experiments. Sean Atwood links child sex trafficking to nearly all trauma, addiction, and abuse in our society. Yeah, I would say it's not even just child sex trafficking. Childhood trauma is at the base, at the core of just about any addiction, any addictive behavior, abusive behavior. Some people act out. I mean, people that are abusive more than likely were abused, not to excuse their behavior, but hurt people hurt people. The majority of the people I know that have ever suffered from any sort of addiction or compulsive behavior, be it drugs, alcohol, food, money addictions, shopping, debting, whatever, almost all of them had some type of childhood trauma. Like all of them. I'm a child trauma survivor, and it's affected so much of my life, and I've had to do so much work to reverse because a child, his brain is still developing, and when they're abused, all these awful messages are patterned in their brain, and you're bad, you're wrong, you deserved it, whatever. And you can logically say, oh, you didn't deserve, of course, all you want, but that negative thinking is patterned in your brain. Yeah, it's absolutely true, man. No, I'm not a survivor, I'm a thriver. Thank you so much, Adam G. I appreciate that. Abuse is a social toxin. It adds to genetic predisposition and environmental toxins to produce the perfect storm of pathology. Absolutely. Addiction is real, greed in general, and specifically extreme desire for a mathematical equivalent of superiority as a notch in the measure of existence leads to inevitable resistance from survivors. Yeah. Sean Atwood is a phenomenon here in the UK now. His expose U.S. prison system is mind-blowing and moving. Right on. All right, guys, let's... Granny Petrol and Shatner sing Comfortably Numb by Pink Floyd. All right, let's find a song here, guys. Oh, I gotta go. Great discussions today. I really like the discussions and even the debates that we have. They're very cool. Ron Placone and I are going to Tucson, Arizona, February 8th. We're also going to be panelists on Jimmy Dore's show, February 9th in Tempe, Arizona. And I need to say this. So not enough people were able to contribute for me to go to Russia for the Assange trial. 450 people watching, 346 likes. Please hit the like button. So some of you donated, and I appreciate that. And I'm not going to be able to go. So I'll talk to you privately about where you would like that funding to go. I will not be able to go because it's just we're getting too late now, and it's even though the tickets were cheap, I'm just not going to be able to make it. So two things. One, I will be doing on panel with Jimmy shows in Sacramento and San Jose the weekend, like 21st, 22nd, 23rd. I will be on the panel for those shows, which will be awesome. And also, I'll keep saying Russia. Do I say Russia? I'm sorry. London. I'm not going to London. I'm sorry. I keep thinking Russia. I'm not able to go to London for the Julian Assange trial, which is February. It starts February 25th. Who knows how long it'll go. So yeah, let me back. I keep saying Russia, my fault. So yes, some of you had donated some money for me to go to London for the Julian Assange trial, and I was going to cover it. Even with, there's really cheap plane tickets, but it's still not enough money, and I can't afford to go out of pocket on it. So I will not be going to London, England, for the Julian Assange trial. I'm going to be doing a panel for Jimmy Dore in Sacramento and San Jose, which will be awesome. Please come to those shows if you're in the area. But Action for Assange looks like they have hit or close to hitting their goal to go there. So what we will do then, Taylor Hudak, who's been on this show before, will be reporting. We'll do like a live Skype every night after, and so she can give us updates on what's happening. So the cool thing is Action for Assange is going. So if you haven't, go to their GoFundMe. It's either a GoFundMe or Indiegogo. Go to actionforassange.com and sell, because they're going, but then they will be like, Taylor will be our like, field reporter, political vigilante field reporter, giving us daily information on the hearing and what's going, because she and another person, I believe Steve from Action for Assange, will be there in London. So that's what we're going to do. But I thank you to the people that tried to help with me to go to London. I'm not going to go, but we will have videos on it almost every day as information unfolds and as Taylor can give it to us. That will happen, and I'm excited about that. And I'm excited to have Taylor. Yeah, as she's saying, I will keep you all informed and Graham will interview. Yeah. Graham, I can give you a place to stay for free for a month. Well, I appreciate that, David. But yeah, it won't, yeah, I'm not going to be able to make it. What's up, Jesus? So yes, Action for Assange has a GoFundMe on our Twitter. So go to the Action for Assange Twitter handle. Once you put your Twitter handle up there, Taylor, so they can all see it. But we will be, we'll have live reporting. So that week of February 25th, I will try to get as many Skype interviews with Taylor as I can to keep us up to speed on what's happening with that trial. That trial might drag on for who knows, weeks or months, and so they might have to come home. I don't know. It's hard to say, but that first week, we will be there. So check out action_for_Assange. It's right there. Follow them. They're sort of the go-to place for anything that's happening with Julian Assange and Chelsea Manning. So I highly suggest you check them out every Wednesday at 7 o'clock Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. They do a live stream. They've had people like Ray McGovern on. I've been on it. They've had John Kiriakou. So, yeah. But, yeah, so the first week is February 24th, and then the following 3 weeks will resume May 18th. Okay. This week they have Ava Bartlett. Oh, hello, Ashman, watching from Melbourne, Australia. I hear the fires have subsided a little bit because there's been rain there, so our heart goes out to you for that. All right, gang. 419 watching, 363 likes. Check that out. And then join Ron Placone and I. Go to grahamelwood.com for all the tour dates. We've got Ron and I are doing Progressive Comedy Tour in San Francisco, the end of February, Florida, March 12, 13, 14. We're doing Orlando, Tampa, and Miami. In April 24th, Seattle, April 25th, Portland. If the Portland show sells out, we could add a show on the 26th because it's like a cool, intimate space. It's like a 70-seat theater in Portland. So the sales are going well. But if we sell that out, we'll add a show on the 26th. So go to gramo.com. Always assumed alcoholism running through families was genetic, but there is a gene that makes some people more susceptible to having problems with substances than others. Sure. But then you put abuse on top of that. And when you've had any sort of abuse, then you have all this shame and blame in your head, and it makes you want to then you have the shame and blame, and then you self-medicate. So many survivors of physical and sexual trauma became addicts, and some survivors didn't make it. They ended up ODing or dying or committing suicide or whatever, especially if they were sex trafficked. It's brutal. So Portland, go up to Vancouver. They would love you. Yeah, we don't have any yet. The closest we get to Vancouver is Seattle. Yeah, as always, do what you can. Watch out for J-Trigger. Anyone talking about violence, support each other. Hate cannot defeat love. Absolutely, Jack. Putin's buddy. Hello. All right, let's sing. Comfortably Numb. Lyrics, we'll do this as Granny Petrol and Shatner. Can y'all still hear me? Or okay, my microphone's still working because my battery's starting to go. Oh, my neighbors are laughing. Oh. Well, this is a long song. Oh, it's 6 minutes long. I don't have time for that. We might have to find another one, Tisha. What else would you like me to sing, Tisha? Because I think Comfortably Numb might be a little too long, dude. Ricky Williams, Shaving Knuckles for Justice. If the Waltons and other billionaires are worried about paying high taxes, they could use a tax bill of taking less and paying their employees. Yeah, absolutely. You could just do that. Pay yourself less money and give your employees more. If you don't want to pay taxes, if you're so against taxes, that's such a great idea. Here we go. Here, all of our employees get a $15 minimum wage for all Walmart employees. Hillary Clinton, when she was on the board, voted against $12 an hour minimum wage. Professor Anthrax. Shave your knuckles for justice. Went to a black bar, sat on my stool, and a woman came around saying they look the same to me. I'm not sure what that means, if that's like a private joke or something. I'm not sure what that means, but thanks for supporting the show. Hello, Tiny Hands Trump, shaving knuckles for justice. Right on. Edward Dunning, shaving knuckles for justice. After 3 years and 5 strikes, my union, AFSCME 3299, won our contract with UC. Right on. Last Wednesday, Bernie walked with us too. Thanks for supporting unions. Right on. Awesome. Wow, Bernie was walking with a union. Huh. Is the Des Moines Register a union paper? Does it use union labor? Ask the Des Moines Register that. Ask the New York Times yet. Do they use union labor? And if so, why aren't they endorsing a candidate that stands with unions time and time and time again? Ask them that. Moose Gal, I hope Bernie picks either Nina Turner or Tulsi Gabbard as his VP. Graham, shave your knuckles with an Omni shaver. It's a great razor. Is that a paid promotion, Jesus? My addictions are cheese and Irish whiskey. Here for a good time, not a long time. Shatner, hey Jude. That's another really long song, you guys. All right. All right. Hold on. Where was this other song you guys wanted to sing? Weekemvar. What does it mean? Weekemvar. I don't know what that means. Not paid, just a great product. All right. Shatner, anything Pearl Jam. All right. Inks, Pixels, thank you for supporting the show. Blister in the Sun, Violent Femmes, either Shatner or Grant. Oh, Blister in the Sun. Okay, that song. All right, there we go. I love that song. Blister, there we go. All right, let's bring that over. When I'm walking, I strut my stuff. I'm so strung out. I'm high as a kite. I just might stop and check you out. Greta, let me go on. Like a blister in the sun, Greta, soaked in all this luxurious oil and coal. I know you're the one, Greta. Body beats, I stain my sheets. I don't even know why. My girlfriend, she's at the end. She's starting to cry. Let me go on, Greta. Like a piece of coal in the sun that makes the world better, Greta. Drink coal, Greta. Don't frown. You'll never get a boyfriend. Greta, listen to me. Granny Petrol wants you to stand in front of a fake fireplace and have a coal-flavored sandwich.
You don't, when you frown, you get wrinkles. Rub oil in your wrinkles. They'll go away, Greta. I'm 140. When I'm walking, I strut my stuff. I'm so strung out. I'm high as a kite. I can't stop to check you out. When I'm walking, I strut my stuff. I'm so strung out. I'm high as a kite. I might stop to check you out. B, I see my sheets. I don't even know why. Girlfriend, she's at the end. She is starting to cry. When I'm walking, I strut my stuff. I'm so strung out. Girl, I just might stop to check you out. Let me go on, Greta. Like beautiful oil in the sun, Greta. Don't let solar panels make you lie, Greta. Solar panels make you young and angry and not attractive. Wear a dress and skirts that are made from oil refineries, Greta.
That was a great suggestion. I believe that was Annabelle, right on from down under. Leave it to the the Aussie. This whole thing was started by an Australian, Sam Dean. Oh no, it was Ink Speckles Ink Spikles, Spixels, Ink Speckles. I don't have such a problem with that word. Who suggested this? So a Granny Petrol. You're the best. I love all of you for coming on the show. It's not fueled by coal, it's hydrogen.
Oh, that's a lie, Greta. That's a lie from Big Green. Coal powers the sun. The ocean is an ocean of oil and deliciousness. Corn is actually grown out of a coal stock.
Anyway, you guys are fantastic. Thank you for supporting the show. We had 395 likes. Fantastic. I really appreciate you coming here. Please like and subscribe, share this. Go to grandmama.com for all the tour dates. I do this every Sunday, 3 p.m. Pacific. I will be doing it next Sunday, barring some crazy thing. It'll be going right during the Super Bowl. Why? First time I ever live streamed. I had been doing this show for a month, and the first time I live streamed was on Super Bowl Sunday because I didn't want to watch the Super Bowl and support the corporate war machine, which pushes war during football, especially the Super Bowl. So you guys are great. Check out Action for Assange. And I might be going live this week. There's some CNN town halls, on Tuesday and Wednesday. I can't do Wednesday, but Tuesday, Bernie, I think, is doing it. So I might go live. I got to see if I can get that studio and if Ron and people like that are available. But thank you so much. Join us on the road. You are all making Gotham great again. And shave your knuckles for justice. Like a blister in the sun, let me go on.